What's up, Ragin Nation? This is Alex Yoon. You're watching the Ragin Ronin review. Last weekend I saw Captain America, the First Avenger, and here's my review. Before I do this review, I just want to let you know that I didn't read the comic books, but I do know what Captain America is all about in a nutshell. I mean, before the movie was made. It's about this guy, young, skinny, small, wants to get into the army, and then takes this super serum, then he's like Captain America. And he has a shield. Anyways, so I watched the trailer and I just felt, yeah, the trailer's okay. It's a little bit underwhelming, but okay. It just didn't feel like Iron Man, right? Because I'm gonna start comparing it with Hulk and Thor and Iron Man. But anyways, I watched the movie and all I have to say is that this is a very story-driven movie. Thor is very character-driven. Iron Man is also very character-driven, but Captain America is very story-driven. And the reason why I say that is mainly because of the way the movie is executed. Because at the very beginning, we know that what's supposed to happen with Captain America, like later on, right? We know. So the whole movie is about how Captain America gets there. That's what we're really anticipating. That's why I feel the movie is more story-driven than it is like action or character-driven. Although I do feel Chris Evans really brought out a good performance as Captain America and made him a very kind of a, in some ways, a conflicted hero, but I just wanted to see him get to where he's supposed to be later on for Avengers next year, and that was the main thing about it for me. But other than that, I really wanted to see what kind of big superhero action there is, and to be completely honest, it's not like Iron Man, it's not like Thor, and it's not like the Hulk, because Captain America, all he really is faster and stronger. That's all he really is. Physically, he's taller and more muscular, but he doesn't have actual superpowers. But the cool thing about Captain America is his weapon of choice, and that is the shield. The shield is impenetrable, and you throw it, and then it bounces right back at you, and it's just like such an awesome weapon because he slams people with it. And I felt that that was really the highlight of the movie, how he just uses it as a weapon. But one of the big things about a movie being less action-driven is mainly because you have a weak villain. And I don't know much about Red Skull, but I always thought that in superhero movies, there should be some kind of super villain superhero matchup, and it should be epic in some ways, or the character should be, I don't know, just memorable. But Red Skull was literally a Red Skull. You know, he displayed how evil he was throughout the movie, but when it came to the match between Red Skull and Captain America, it was a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy it, but there's still some things I felt that I wanted more out of the movie. I really liked Thor, and I felt that Thor was better than Captain America. The movie felt kind of like G.I. Joe, where Red Skull is like Cobra Commander or Destro. Instead of Cobra, he's controlling Hydra. So it felt like G.I. Joe in some ways. I don't know, some of you might see that comparisons. And another thing I'd like to say is that, you know, they did a good job making Chris Evans into a small guy. And from what I read in the production, in some scenes, it was Chris Evans' head, like a shrunken down version of Chris Evans' head onto like a, you know, a skinnier guy's body, right? But for the most part, it was all Chris Evans. And I don't know what the process is, like totally, but from what I've read, it had to do with like taking his existing body and then shrinking it down using CG. And I don't know about anybody else, like it's actually a really good job. Like they did a really good job. But the reason why I still think it doesn't look entirely real is because I know what Chris Evans looks like. The guy's a freaking monster. So to put him on like a skinny kid's body just looks totally weird. I'm just weirded out by it, that I find it like unbelievable. And like it's still a really good job, but I can't help but think that that's a Chris Evans head on a skinny kid's body. Honestly speaking, there's no other way to do it. It's just because the human eye, like we who've seen Chris Evans many times, we're so used to seeing Chris Evans with a monster-like body. So that's why no matter how well they do it, we're still thrown off by the fact that he is a buff guy. By the way, oh, don't watch it in 3D. I'm so sick of poorly converted 3D, or even poorly shot 3D. after seeing Avatar, Transformers Dark of the Moon, I have a certain standard, and I am going to tell you right now, save your money, don't watch it in 3D, watch it in 2D, because it's really, really underwhelming. It's just not worth it to watch it in 3D. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. It's enjoyable, but I went into the movie thinking that it's going to be a superhero movie. It really wasn't. It was a movie with a superhuman in it. Not necessarily a superhero, because superheroes do very spectacular things. It's not. Like I said, it was more story-driven, not very action-driven as a superhero movie, and they had a bit of a weak villain, and it just felt like G.I. Joe. But it still is a good movie in terms of the story. I think this is probably one of Chris Evans' better roles. I like him in a lot of movies, but I enjoyed seeing him as Steve Rogers. Anyway, 7 out of 10. Let me know how you felt about it. This is Alex Yu, and thanks for watching the Ragin Ronin review. Peace. So yeah, I think they're going for a different approach, and which is good because like I don't want to see the same movie over again. And it looks like this one is staying more true to the comics